Thank you, Jess. I don't know if thank you's enough, but I really do appreciate it, because I appreciate you. Because I've said this before, but I don't know if anybody's really heard me, but apparently, yes, some people are listening. But we don't often get feedback, or at least not meaningful or positive feedback that lets you know you're on the right track. And YouTube can actually skew the data and make you think that you're going the right way when you're actually going the wrong way, or vice versa. But thank you, Jess. We are wired differently. We are built differently. We are not like everybody else, and that's why we will take risks and challenge ourselves. And even after we jump off the edge and achieve success, we'll do it again and again and again. It's just how we're built. And I think what matters most is doing what you love. And if you do what you love, then at the end of the day, you should produce a quality product. And this product will essentially sell itself to those who understand and identify the value of what you've created. I actually had this idea, and this idea is going to be for folks like you and I, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, risk takers, thinkers, creators, doers. And it's this very simple concept. And I've shared this with a few people, but very, very few even, I think they really listen and hear me. And I don't think anyone has actually taken action yet. A buddy of mine, his name's Chris Igo, and he's a realtor. He's a real estate agent down in Boynton Beach, Florida. He told me, one of the first things he told me was that he could teach, or he could tell anyone how to be successful and make a lot of money in real estate. And he has, and he will. And he has no problem doing that, because he's not worried about increased competition, because he knows very few people, if any, will actually do what it takes after receiving this priceless information of someone who makes a shitload of money, being very successful at what they do. Interestingly, sometimes businesses, especially today, will inevitably ultimately end up making far more revenue and, most importantly, profit in ways that they never thought, they never dreamed, and never imagined, that have nothing to do with the sole purpose behind what and why they started the business that they started. And for example, we met AB, Smoking and Grilling with AB. And, you know, his passion lies within the content that he creates, but he's seen tremendous growth and a huge ROI from taking that passion and putting it to video. Another would be a business that I had actually consulted with over a year ago, and they were struggling since they've gone out of business, but they also didn't necessarily do what needed to be done to stay in business. And what it takes to stay in business is money. Lots of it. Businesses, if you have a cash hungry business, then you're gonna need a lot of money. And if you want a business that's not cash hungry, then you need a business that doesn't require a lot of labor, a lot of employees, a lot of overhead, a lot of inventory. And that would be an online business and digital products for the most part, or at the very least, drop shipping. But keeping your costs low and your overhead low is going to be the difference between survival and the opposite, failure. Now, if you've got a massive business that can survive off of debt, then the P word I mentioned earlier won't really matter to you. But odds are you have a completely different mindset and game plan. And these are far beyond small businesses. And we're getting into big businesses and merger and acquisition, and quite possibly, more than likely, some form of bankruptcy. But that's just a game that's played on the extremely high corporate level that we'll save for another video. So it's Max and I out today, taking a longer walk with him today, and he's just all over the place. But there are a bunch of squirrels out here, so he's just distracted. But Jess, you're right on time. You're right on time, because I'll tell you, yesterday I was with Michelle and we were driving, and she received this email notification, and it's just, honestly, it's just unbelievable. It's overwhelming. It really is. It's completely unexpected. And it was crazy. It just was. And then she received another message. You know, it's unreal. And honestly, I was at a point where I felt like I was wasting my time. I felt like I was going the wrong direction. I was doing the wrong thing. And I think quite possibly I was, but somehow in between all that, I managed to reach and connect to good people like you and a few others. And then I honestly thought that I was logged in to her email when the notification came through on my phone, and I thought it was a mistake. I thought something was wrong. And I was blown away. I really was. I really was. However, after that, we did our 2.0 live stream, and we went on. I actually fell asleep after that, and went to bed and woke up with uncertainty in the future. And my business exists here in comparison to other people's businesses, but my business exists here. But I wasn't very pleased. I wasn't very happy with the direction my business was going. And I spent the morning trimming down all my videos. And at the end, I was left with 5 videos that I felt like I wanted to leave on the channel. And then Michelle, she was like, is something wrong? We started talking, trying to formulate a solution, a path towards finding a solution. And we were working on that. And then I read the message on Buy Me a Coffee that you left, and it just stopped me in my tracks. The message was more powerful than the coffees. So you know, my sincerest gratitude for both, really. And I guess I got a lot of random ideas and thoughts and opinions and past experiences and that I could share. I just, you know, I want people to be careful, be smart, but also be informed and educated. The business that I was referring to earlier that did not make it, they were along the lines of smoking and grilling with AB. And they were in a position, they had the ability to utilize commercial grade equipment and their talents and skills to make more money with their restaurant than their restaurant could ever make. I'm talking about creating content. I'm talking about how-tos. I'm talking about recipes. I'm talking about merchandise. I'm talking about expanding beyond the traditional norms of what most people think business has to be, especially when that business is struggling and on the verge of collapse. which inevitably happened. And if you have followed along since the beginning, more than likely, then you know exactly who I'm talking about and what restaurant I'm talking about and all that. But you know, just something as simple as it's simple, but it's actually quite complex and a hard concept for people to grasp. But it's like, yeah, I got a restaurant, but I sell t-shirts. I've got a restaurant, but I sell sauce. Well, why? Because it makes way more money. Costco uses hot dogs and rotisserie chicken as a loss leader. Well, be that as it may, maybe your loss leader needs to be your entire restaurant, and you use this tool, this opportunity to your advantage to make hay online, especially when you're limited by foot traffic, inventory, workforce, seasonality. In online businesses, there's no seasonality to an online business. It's 24/7, 365, 366. But these are just samples, these are just examples, ideas that we can discuss if you want to. And really, it's just, we can just talk about it. I think the key is talking and having these conversations, and then you know your business better than anybody else does or ever will. And then you know how to make whatever you want to make work and fit your business. Plain and simple. But this is the secret that I shared. And this one's pretty out there. This one's outlandish, okay? But it ties back into exactly what Chris Igo told me, and the fact that he can and he will and he has told, shown, taught, explained to, tried to teach others exactly how to do what he does to make the money that he makes, knowing that they won't. There's two types of content when it comes to making money on YouTube. And there's one that's legit and honest and upfront and forthcoming. That content doesn't get many views. Then there's the other content that tries to trick you and persuade you and distract you and sell you this dream, this hope, this lie, this get rich quick scheme that doesn't work. And those are the ones that get all the views. Now, funny enough, as I watch all of this content, I can pull out and I can see some of the truth that lies within the content that isn't necessarily 100% honest. And it's really more of just it's more of a commercial to sell their course or their product or their service or their third-party website or whatever it may be. And there's really no value there, seemingly no value. Because for me, the value exists in the theory, the idea, the execution, and realizing that if I watch a video that's going to tell me how to get rich, knowing good and well it probably will never happen. The real value is in realizing and understanding that the person who's telling you how to get rich is getting rich by telling you how to get rich. As simple as that is. I did watch a little bit of Jordan Welch in his video last night when he was in Dubai, and he had and he was visiting a friend, colleague, friend, who flew him out there and covered all his expenses. And his name is Iman Gadzhi. So I went over to Iman Gadzhi's channel. I watched a little bit of his content, and he said something that was really important. He said, you know, the key to building wealth is timing. Timing is very important. I'll get into that in another video, but in that video, I actually read through the comments, and one of the comments said, dude, all your videos are all the same. And I thought to myself, I said, this is kind of funny. Like, one, all his videos are not all the same, specifically. I mean, the same in a sense of, yeah, he's showing you how rich he is and how wealthy he is and how successful he is. Okay, yeah, sure. But if you're watching all of his videos to tell him that all his videos are the same, then hopefully you yourself are succeeding and are rich and wealthy too. Odds are probably not, because a comment like that is a comment from negativity and hate. But it's just that. It's so simple. It's not complex. It's not complicated. It is just that. Start something, follow through, be passionate, be smart, educated, grow, hire great people, work with great people, network and connect. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to get out of that room. Hire somebody smarter than you. Talk to people more successful than you. Don't let their success intimidate you or cause any form of comparison. Let it motivate you and inspire you. Work with a lot of folks in these positions, extremely successful. They would love the opportunity to talk to anyone willing to listen, because very few, they connect with very few. I'll leave it at that. And if we look at those before us who are extremely wealthy, they've all done the same thing, the basics. So building wealth isn't this complex, complicated strategy. It's just that. It's all the same. Make more money, spend less than you make, eliminate debt, budget, save and invest. It's not this glamorous, you know, crypto screaming video of, you know, sending everything to the moon. It's not. It really isn't. But either way, be that as it may, these folks, all of who I've shared and mentioned, which I'll try to remember to link in the description down below, they all do the same thing. And what they do is exactly what Chris Igo had mentioned, which is tell people how to do the thing that they do that makes them a lot of money. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because the odds are in your favor that very few people will actually execute on it. Therefore, you're not at risk of increasing your competition. And at the very best case scenario, you're at risk of increasing your network and building better relationships that'll only help you and your business thrive and do better. Max, what are you doing? You're at a dog park, run around. I take him to the dog park and he just like, he never really wants to run around. He just wants to sniff everything. So here's my little secret, okay? And he refuses to drink the water out of the water fountain. He only drinks water out of his bowl. So here's my little secret, okay? And this is gonna fall into the same category and along the same lines as an online business and zero inventory and no overhead. Because essentially what you wanna do is you wanna teach people how to do what it is that you do that makes you money. You want to teach people what you do that will save them money. So I pitched this to carpenters, electricians, plumbers, tradesmen, roofers, painters. There's actually a guy I saw years ago and he was crushing it on YouTube. And I think he went by the name of the Idaho Painter. And I think this dude was legit. And he straight up just showed, he straight up just showed everybody how to do what it is that he does. He becomes a valuable resource that he doesn't charge $1 for. But instead, he earns through YouTube's ad revenue, monetization. But then he also sells his own merch and sells his products. He is advertising for his own company for free. Do you know how much it's worth? Do you know how much advertising costs? And if you can exchange that cost to not have to pay for it and get it done for free, that's a bump right there in profit. You don't even need to make any more money. Make the same money, spend less. He was getting sponsored, he was getting brand deals, he was getting all sorts of stuff, okay? And he was also helping teach and show people how to do things without having to pay someone else and save them money. One of the things that I've mentioned, actually another trade, but it's not really a trade, but investors like, what was his name? Gutierrez? I think his name is I think his name is Ricky. Ricky Gutierrez. I watched a little bit of his last night, and the reason why I watched it is because he had one of the videos associated with DWAC or DJT and True Social, and he was talking about his trades. And I've told folks many times that are in this space, I'm like, look guys, and they know it. These guys on YouTube know it. The folks in my life don't, and they refuse to accept it. But I said, you know, you can make way more money showing people how to trade than you would trading. And the reason why is because when you show people how to trade, you don't have the risk of losing money in trading. That's just it. Showing people, teaching people how to do what you do that makes you money and or saves them money. And when we get to chef level, when we get to, you know, master electrician level, master plumber level, all these different levels, what folks then realize is that they don't have the experience. And more importantly, they probably don't have the extremely expensive tool that you invested in to make money with, that if they were to buy to do this one job to save them a few bucks, there's no way that they would ever buy it. There's no way that they would ever buy it. Like, if you wanted to save money by painting your own house, okay, great, cool. But if you really want to do it, you're gonna want to get a good sprayer. I'm not talking about one of those little yellow Wagners you get from Home Depot. I'm talking about a Graco. Yeah, oh yeah, you're gonna need to buy a bunch of ladders too. And you're gonna need all this other stuff that you don't have, that you haven't invested in, because this isn't your business, this isn't your trade. But you may give it a shot, you may give it a try. You'll appreciate all the helpful tips and advice shared with you, but then you'll also realize that this job is above and beyond your capabilities, and not to mention the risk of damaging something far worse than fixing what you're trying to do, and then having to pay more on top of all these other costs to get it all fixed and repaired. So what do? You call the person who showed you how to do it. Again, free marketing and free advertising. And it all works hand in hand. It's a simple concept. Some people will have the tools, some people will have the know-how, they will give it a shot, they will give it a try, and that's great. But far more won't, and they'll call you, or at the very least, support you. Share your content, your business name, your product, your service, you know, just because they like you. And then you'll get more business. It's a win-win. It's a win-win that literally is a zero cost win-win. It's a zero cost. Therefore, if you have a business, JESS, show people how your business makes money. Let's talk about this a little bit more before you press record. Contact me. But show them how your business makes money. Show them how they could do the same. Perhaps maybe even offering them opportunities in brand deals or sponsorships or private label or drop shipping or whatever it may be. Show them. It's a zero cost marketing tool and advertising technique that will only grow your business bigger and better than it's ever been before. Hey guys, go check out Herve Loucindi.